Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Technique Tuesday. I'm excited to be here again to share with you another fun tip and technique using your card making supplies. So if you're here, give me a shout out. I'd love to know who's watching with me. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christy Coromandel. I am a Step and Up demonstrator, and I help card makers enhance your skills and boost your creative confidence to effortlessly craft beautiful designs you adore. So I'm here to help you today. The technique that we are going to be focusing on is all about die cutting and the different ways or different techniques in die cutting our intricate dies to our outline dies and everything in between. So the stamp set and the die that we are going to be featuring today is one of our bundles right here. It is the two-tone Florna die, and this is, oh, sorry, that's the stamp set, and this is the die set that comes with. We have a cover plate, and then we have these outline images that go with this one right here as well. Hi, Anne. Thank you for joining us. So let's get started right here. So I have with me some thick white cardstock, which I'm going to use to create my card base. So I haven't actually cut this ahead of time, sorry, but I'm going to cut this in half at the 4 1/8 of an inch mark, and then I'm going to score this at 5 7/8 to create my card base. There we go, and then I can simply use a bone folder to, if I grab one out of my little supply tray here, to crisp up those edges. Now, bone folder is a nice to have tool. It's not necessarily a must have, but it definitely gives you those nice, clean, crisp edges when you're card making. The other thing we're going to need is some white cardstock to do all of our stamping on. So I'm going to cut this in half at 5 5/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to cut this again at the 4 1/8 of an inch, because we're going to do that with our cover plate. And then I have this piece, because it won't quite fit through my die cutting machine because it's greater than 6 inches. So I'm just going to slice it down to the 5 7/8, because that's a half a sheet. Good afternoon, Deborah. Thank you for joining us all the way from New South Wales. Okay, so I can put my paper trimmer away. We are going to start with using our cover plate. Now, leave me a comment, let me know if you've used cover plates before in your die cutting. Because if you haven't, we're in for a surprise, for a treat today. So one of the tips or the tips when using cover plates is to use adhesive sheets. Now, Step and Up provide us with adhesive sheets, which is great, makes it super easy for us. But I like to cut mine down. I'm just going to cut this into 2-inch strips. So I'm going to cut 2. I find this easy to put on the back of my card base than one whole sheet. So I've cut this. Basically, this should be to the length of, oops, it's a little bit too long. I want this at least no more than 5 7/8 of an inch. Actually, you might go a little bit short. Let's go 5 1/2 inches. That way we don't have to be too precise. Sorry, just trying to. Yes, that's true. And adhesive sheets are great if you remember to put them on. And you're probably like me, that I get to the end and go, oh, I so should have put adhesive sheet onto that project of mine. So I've cut mine into 2-inch strips, because then I find it's easier to stick this down onto the back. So there's one. And it's also easy to peel at the end when we have to peel it all off. And there's 2. So we kind of left a little gap in the middle. And I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to trim this edging off here, because we're actually going to use this piece that we have cut down. And this should be the same size as my card front here. So the 4 and, oh, it's not. No. How did I get that so wrong? Okay, let's cut that again because I cut it wrong. Now, would it be an... How did I get that so wrong? Anyway, we'll try that again. We'll cut this piece. 4 1/8 of an inch. Okay, we all make mistakes, all right? Wouldn't be card making if we didn't make a mistake. So 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 7/8 of an inch, because that is the size of the front of my card. And then I'm going to cut these into 2-inch strips. Let's try that again. Take 2. Stick strip number 1 down. And strip number 2. And we'll trim the ends off with our scissors. There we go. Now, this should be the size of my card base. I've got too much stuff lying around here. Perfect. Okay. Now, because this is going through an extra layer, we want to center this because this is going to go right on the front of my cardstock. So I'm going to center this. Now, depending on where you are in the world, your cardstock will be obviously a different size. So this is going to fit perfectly on the width, but it's going to be a little bit edges sticking up on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to center that between my top and my bottom. And I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine in here so you can actually see what I am doing. Okay, so we build our sandwich. We have plate number 1, plate number 2, plate number 3. I also have my scratchy one on the bottom. And then, because this is an intricate die, I am going to put this slightly on an angle onto my die cutting machine, because I find that it will help it go through it just a little bit easier. Making sure that's all nice and straight. And because I'm doing it live, it's going to, not work for me, right? Okay, now let's crank this through. Now, because we do have that extra layer, it may take a little bit of extra muscle just to get that through, but just keep working it, because it will go through. And of course, I'm doing it the wrong way around too, which doesn't help. I'm just going to fit it through this way because I'm right-handed. I can't quite do it left-handed. Okay, there you go. That's gone through, and then I like to put it through backwards through again. Just because it's so intricate, we want to make sure we get all of those pieces cut out. And then the extra thing I want to do is I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to run it through again, making sure it's slightly on an angle. I'm going to run it through again and back out again. Okay, let's put that aside. Everything's blown over. Fix this up so you can all see. Okay, and then I can peel this off, and all those little pieces should now come out. Now, if they didn't, you can simply take your quick pick and just push those through, those little bits that didn't come out, and they'll come out. The other alternative you can do, which I totally forgot about, is your pick tool has a little brush end on it, and you can run that over it as well while it's still in its die to remove all these other little pieces as well. But mine's pretty much already come out, which is good. Let's get those last little pieces out. Perfect. I'm quite happy with that. So let's move all my mess out of the way. And I'm simply going to stick this now down to the top piece of my card base because this is going to be our little feature. Now, the benefit of having this done twice or having two little strips makes it easier to peel off it as well. So I'm just peeling off those pieces, my backing to my adhesive. Now, if you forgot to use your adhesive sheet, just use liquid glue. And I'm going to open this up. I'm going to butt this across the top portion of my card base so I can line it all up. And we can stick that down. And then you can see that fun texture that we have on our card base there. So I'm going to set this aside, making sure that's all stuck down. Some stamping now. So I've got some pieces of white cardstock. We're going to use our stamp set that coordinates with this die, which is the two-tone flower, and this is a two-step stamp. So and we have our inside image as well. So this is a great idea to kind of get colors that coordinate together or are more monochromatic. So we're going to start with my darkest color. I'm going to show you a few tips with this stamp set as well. So I'm going to ink it up in Gorgeous Grape for my outline, and then my inline color, inside color, or the filling color, I'm going to use Highland Heather. So I'm stamping up my solid. Now I find, you probably can't see it in the camera, but there's like these little dots on the center of the flower. I'm going to line them up inside the center of the flower of my image. And if you do that, you're going to get the perfect placement every time. I'm just going to ink this up twice. Once again, I'm lining those up the center there. And I'm going to do the next size flower as well in this color. I think it's this one. Oh, wrong color first. Gorgeous Grape first. Just stamp it twice. And then let's find that filling color, and I'm going to use Highland Heather. And this has got like a little moon cut out. So I'm just going to line that up with the little moon section of my stamp right here. And then I'm going to pretty much have perfect placement every time. Okay, so I'm done with my purples. And then the next one, let's find another piece of paper. Let's go with our pinks. So I've got here Flirty Flamingo for my outline image. And here we go. Flirty Flamingo, I'm going to do it twice. 1, 2. And then the inside, we're going to use Petal Pink. And I'm simply going to use the dots in the center to line that up. Can't see. Sorry, if I got my head in the way. The camera was in my way. Okay, there we go. We've got that one done. And then let's do the third flower. We're going to do that in blue. We'll do our dark color first. And then let's do our inside color, Tahitian Tide. But I'm going to stamp this one off because I don't want it so dark. And once again, you'll be able to line this up. Oh, I forgot to make it lighter. Let's try that again. Stamp off this time. There we go. Okay, and then to finish it off, I'm going to do some multiple colors of leaves. I've got these in Lemon Lime Twist and was it Granny Apple Green? So I'm going to stamp 5 of each colour. Sorry, all my ink pads are going everywhere. Okay, now it's time to do the die cutting. So we have coordinating dies here. So the easiest way to do this is to simply just place your die on, and you're just going to rotate them around until you find the perfect spot. Sometimes it'll be quick to find, other times it won't be as quick. Okay, there's that one there, and this one must be for over here. Yep, there it is there. Usually if I get one, I can find the other. There's that one, that goes with that one. It does coordinate, I promise. There we go. And then we've got all of our leaves. Now, to save time, I've actually gone ahead and already die cutted all of our pieces, but you'll run that through the die cutting machine until you've cut them all out. So there's all our pieces. One thing I haven't done is stamp my greetings. Let me stamp my greeting. I need another piece of cardstock. I'm going to stamp this in Gorgeous Grey. Now my greeting comes from the Something Fancy stamp set right here. And I'm going to die cut this out with the coordinating dies. I've got Something Fancy dies. I'm going to get the little one here. I'm going to die cut this out now. We're just going to do this on the side here off camera. Okay, so let's assemble a card. Let's bring in our card base that we'd already created with our cover plate on it. I'm going to start by assembling my greeting. I'm going to pop it up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to probably put this about a third from the bottom, and then we're going to build all our flowers around it. So I'm going to add Stampin' Dimensionals to these as well. So we're going to build this right around our greeting. So I've got one of our large ones. Here's a medium one. Got some of our little pink ones here. I'm going to tuck that in behind there. Tuck this one in behind here. Put this one right here in the front. Actually, let's make that Stampin' Dimensional down a bit bottom more. So I don't want to add too much height to the top portion. There we go. And then to add my leaves, I'm simply just going to use liquid glue and put a scattering of these around my flowers. There we go. And then to finish it off, because we've already got so much texture and everything on it, I don't want to add too much extra. I'm going to use some basic pearls just to add a little bit of bling, because, you know, no card is complete without some bling. Oops, that didn't stick. There we go. And there is our card all finished. Oops. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something new about die cutting and how to get those nice, clean, crisp cuts with your intricate dies. I will have this up as a blog post sometime later this week. And be sure to follow me at christycoromandel.com for more project ideas. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.